Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Apex Racing TV for the third from last round, round 11 of the season in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship. My name is Andrew Woodhouse. I'm joined by the two Sams, Fitzpatrick in the commentary box and the Kumo behind the cameras. And, well, Sam, we're here at Autodromo Nazionale Monza. I say ciao to you and ciao to the viewers at home.
Ciao. Yeah, great to be back here. We're not running the first chicane for this one. It's usually the Temple of Speed. It's the Temple of Speed on steroids, though. When you've got this configuration, I think the organisers want to have a little bit of a unpredictable rounds near the end of the championship. This is potentially some big points going the way of the championship contenders. It can so easily go wrong for you as well rounds here. So this is a big round. We're getting to the end of the season. It's still very close. And yes, it's going to be an unpredictable round. Really a lot of drivers with a good chance around this slipstream track.
A shorter season than normal means no showdown, but actually that means that we don't actually need one this year. If you look at the points, they're so finely balanced. You've got just over 100 points separating the top 8, which even at this stage is not a lot. Ross Balfour goes into this round with the advantage on 1,889 points. David Baker just 29 points behind him. Oscar Mangan is close behind in third. Then it's Ross McFarlane, Matt Turnbull just a point behind him. And Kieran Harrison, Jack Sedgwick, George Simmons, Simon Trendo and Jason Cooper, the top 10. Cooper only trails by 137 points. Still could be his title as an outside chance, and an outside chance is what Alex Simpson and Wojciech Svidovic will be hoping exists in 11th and 12th. It's unlikely that they're going to challenge, but you never know what can happen in the remaining 9 races of the season. Welcome along, everybody. As we say, live coverage from Monza. We're looking at the AM category on the screen. This program is brought to you by VRS, by SDK Gaming, and of course by Apex Racing Team. Right, Academy, sorry, Apex Racing Academy, there we go. I had brain freeze there for a second. Ricard Carlson leads the AM category by 9 points. Matt Johnson just behind him. Benjamin Gregory in third, then Mike Woodhouse, Toby Ward in fifth, Nathan Davies sixth. Then it's John Roberts, Marcel Fritsch, Darius Neidhart, and Marius Breuer. And that's the top 10 in that category. Such good quality in the field, though, Sam. We're seeing it all the way through these standings. Very good drivers in very lowly positions.
Yeah, I mean, Carlson, I'm surprised to see Carlson, Hell Racers driver in the amateur division. I think it's like 4,000 iRacing or something. And yeah, he's put in the amateur category. Of course, I think a new driver as well to the series, and he's certainly performing very well. And yeah, a high quality all the way down the auto. This car, particularly around this circuit, the driver should be able to extract absolutely everything from it. And one of the 2 races I've done in this series was around this circuit, actually, albeit with the first chicane, and it is so much fun. I mean, we're going to see 20 car chains. Often you get about 10th in line, and you literally see the train from about the second chicane all the way to the first Lesmo, and there's no stopping it. I mean, it seems to just go on forever, and you can't quite believe what you're seeing in front of you when you've got 10, 15 cars lining up ahead. It is pretty epic. So that close field, I think, will be even closer around here. As practice just coming to an end, we'll jump into qualifying. And I always have to go through whether anyone's towed back to the pits in qualifying, usually with the stewarding, because you're not allowed to do that. Once you're out on circuit, you can come into the pits and get some new fuel, but you can't tow back to the pits. You can't go back to the pits and get a new car. So that is something for the drivers to think about. Once they're out on circuit, they'll probably be out there for the whole time. And the slipstream is going to be, I keep on banging on about it, it's going to be so important here. If you can work well with your teammates, that could be pole position for you.
Could indeed, and Temple of Speed is not an understatement here. Qualifying is usually the epitome of said speed, as Carl Janssen, I'm not quite sure what he's doing, just hitting Kip Stevens going down the straight. Has to be a bit careful of that. And of course, your lap can be invalidated at certain times, of course, with certain amounts of contact, so the drivers need to keep in mind if they're considering any bump drafting or very, very close quarters driving. We've got to say as well, Sam, it would not be an occasion such as this without congratulating Ash Sutton, of course, 2 times now British Touring Car Champion.
Yeah, congratulations to him. Of course, one of the most talented drivers out there. I think there was even some questions whether or not he'd be on the grid, wasn't there? I mean, struggling to get a drive, and yet once he was out there, absolutely delivered. And well, it's pretty awesome to have him out on circuit here, and it really does raise the prestige of this series. And for all of those who have beaten him either in a championship or just beaten him in one race ever, it means that they can boast a little bit more to people who probably don't care.
Yeah, I mean that's our life story, isn't it?
Yeah.
In sim racing, really. I did this. I was on track with X, Y, and Z. Who are they? Comes the cry. But no, Ash Sutton, maybe he's on the way to becoming a real household name in Britain with 2 titles. There aren't many drivers in the British Touring Car Championship who have more than that. And he's got a good shot of pole position here as well. He's at the head of the train. He's got his Pure Sims teammates with him. One of them has a good chance of being on pole position due to the nature of this circuit. Do have to point out as well, Sutton had been a member of this championship since at least 2014, maybe slightly earlier. So he's been in it for the long haul. He's been a great servant to the championship. He tries to do as many races as he can. He does do occasionally a full season when it's possible. Never an ARLTC champion. He might be able to sort that out one day. Who knows? But he's won a lot of races in this season, in this championship. It's off the top of my head, it's about 24 races at least. He's probably got a few more than that. But yeah, Sam, he's got to be at the very least an outside shot of pole here.
Yeah, I think, I'm not sure if it was him or not, but I think someone got pole position in World GT round here. I think it was Ash, and he unfortunately crashed on the rolling start, but I'm sure he'll do better than that. And of course, even if he's not on pole position, to be fair, you do get a bonus point, which I'm sure he'd like. But as long as he's up on those front couple of rows of the grid, he will have a very good chance going into Curva Grande.
Isn't that the Coulthard special around here, crashing on the formation?
Yeah, actually, yeah. 96. Unfortunately, we
95.
95, sorry.
Yeah.
You see, I'll
give you an excuse. You weren't born then.
Yeah. But yeah, apologies for that. Honestly, there's no excuse. And hopefully that won't happen. But like I said, front 2 rows of the grid, it's all sorted.
That's happened in this championship as well. By the way, we've had some very famous incidents. I think I apologise to do this to him, but I think Dan Blake, I think it happened to him and Scary in one of the races in, I think it was 2015. It's something that's so easily done. I've seen many people drop it on the warm-up lap. That is for sure. Now we're into the meat and drink of the session, Sam. That these first 4 laps or so will be the ones that the drivers are going to maybe be taking it, relatively easily, because it's about lap 4 or lap 5 that we're probably going to get the best out of the tyres here.
Yeah, I think so. Although that first lap for Mangan is still quite a gauntlet to set to be 3/10 of a second clear. I mean, there's nothing between these drivers. I think around this circuit. I mean, I haven't watched too many of the races this season, but it is so close in the championship that no one's going to have an actual pace advantage. It's just who is going to be able to put together that perfect slipstream. Because that's if you don't get a slipstream, then there's literally no chance of you possibly having a chance. But that's still pretty dangerous for Mangan to be that far up at the moment. But yeah, expect the others to come back soon.
Sorry to butt in there. I think there's been a crash at the Curva de la Roja, actually. That looks like John Roberts, and I'm not quite sure the other one is. I was just going to say to you, though, that the practice time, the fastest in practice, was Oscar Mangan, 1:50.820. 0.6 of a second off at the moment. So that will illustrate the what's potentially to come, or maybe a bit more.
Yeah, you'll be trying to get as close to that as possible. I wonder if we could get the track temperature up as the Jazz are going to put in another round of laps. There you can see 28 degrees, so it is getting warmer. It's 20 past 11, and of course the warmer the track gets, the slower it gets. McFarlane now to the top, and that's quite a bit faster as well. Simmons puts himself up in second, so there was plenty of room for improvement. And Trentell as well up into second place, so we wait to see if anyone can break into the 1 minute 50s. And that's looking pretty possible at the moment if the tyres keep on getting better. It's now going to be that the tyres are going to be at their absolute optimum. But can you get that perfect run? Butler currently top of the outer drivers and by a decent margin as well over Woodhouse, which is good for his championship chances. Butler comes into this round. I think Butler's probably out of the championship contention in that one. He's actually down in 27th place out of the outer drivers. Must have not done all the races, Butler, because that is a nice time early on in this qualifying session.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. First time in a while we've seen him up near the top of the AM category, actually. In a qualifying session like this, you know, we've seen it in F1 quite a few times, and there's a lot of dicking about goes on, shall we say, in the qualifying. But the driving is only really half the story, isn't it, around Monza? It's track position, it's getting a bit of slipstream, but not having anyone in your way. There's a lot of variables going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I was really surprised, and it annoys me a little bit when it comes to Formula 1. We had it at again. I'm going to go on and touch it. I'll have a small rant, but whenever something unpredictable and strange happens in Formula 1, people get angry about it. And the slipstream thing as well. The slipstream thing was great. Half the drivers, or 8 out of the 10 drivers not getting a lap, hilarious, memorable, and people were furious that it even happened. Come on, it's great that it happens.
They're all stupid enough to go out at the same time, and that's what they deserve to get, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, in Formula 1 especially. In this, it's not so bad because there's very little dirty area. There is a bit, but it's barely any. So you can follow very, very closely indeed. Contact Guinness, we didn't see him for a couple of weeks, but he goes on to provisional pole, 150.9. That is a decent time indeed for HM Engineering. Their squad becoming stronger and stronger as it goes. Guinness, of course, and Harrison, Leitner, and Fraser Smith have been the challengers for them in 2020 in this latter part of the year. Off into the gravel goes one of the Pure Sims cars as we're on board with Guinness. He's trying to... He might be Guinea as well, I'm not sure. I haven't had an absolute reckoning on that so far. He's backing off a bit to get a bit of space, that's fair enough. And also give his teammate some support. And that teammate is... who's that behind him? Sam, on the track behind Guinness, car 29. That will be Norbert Leitner, the Hungarian.
Yep. I was never going to get that. Yeah, but HM Engineering, who I mistakenly thought were H2M Engineering at the start.
Is that the same? This is not a different team.
It's a different team.
Oh, there you go.
I had a very awkward conversation to them, saying, "Oh, how's the team going?" Didn't know what I was talking about. But it's
Daniel Lee. Who?
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's HM Engineering. Of course, looking forward actually to Daniel Lee and Dean Powell returning to the ARL GT Team Championship on Sunday. Got 110 drivers signed up to that. Teams
How many?
It's a team championship, thankfully, but we were pleased with the turnout, so do check that out on Apex Racing TV.
That's when Sam's disappointed that he can't keep all the entry fees for himself. 110.
Honestly, never been more angry.
Speaking of somebody who potentially could have been very angry last season, that was Jack Sedgwick. And, he's got another chance to win here today. You know, it's gone okay for him this season at times, but it's not been the form of last season, Sam, but he's certainly got a chance of starting on the front row here.
Yeah, I was saying before the broadcast how last season, if we didn't have the showdown, he would have won the championship with a round to spare. But as it's typical for the showdown, the leader in the normal season doesn't usually win doesn't win the showdown a couple of seasons ago. Of course, I think Swidovic only got in by his number of race wins. He was outside the top
Yeah, he
12,
was
but got in.
28th in the championship, I think
Yeah,
he was.
but
And
got like 3 wins, so got a spot, and then managed to not crash at Belle, unlike everyone else, and won the championship. But nothing like that this season. I still wouldn't put it past him, Swidovic, even from the distance back that he is now.
no,
So you bring it back in his style and make it 7 titles.
I don't think unless he's mathematically out of it, I don't think you can ever count him out, because late season is when he tends to come into his own. I actually think he's been pretty good this season. Actually, probably a lot better than he was in the previous season, ironically, and yet in what's technically a worse position. I've raced at this series at Belle Isle, by the way. It's not an easy job to not crash there, as unfortunately I found out on the day. Nathan Davies goes up into the top 7, 151.2. Guinea to the top again, 150.861, just ahead of Sutton. Leitner in 3rd. That's a really good job from him. That could be his best qualifying of the season.
Yes, brilliant there from Leitner. The teammates must be working well, him and Guinness at the moment. And of course, Sutton very strong as well. Properly into the rev limiter are these cars by the proper first chicane, having to cut across the track. It's so tricky when you've got a long train of cars to find a place to slow down. 71 goes spinning off.
71 is... Oh, now then.
Oh,
Jason Allen, the American.
Yep. Way
New
down,
driver to the series. First meeting for him. Welcome, Jason. Good to have you. Not good to be facing the wrong way in Curve de la Roja, though, and you'll soon find out that that could be commonplace in this series occasionally. Great stuff from Nathan Davies, a proven race winner in this championship. I believe he's got 3 career wins as Davies, and well, be leading the leading amateur at the moment. We call them amateurs really, but some have several hundred races under the belt. So in this series and in iRacing official races, and iRating's well over mine, some of them. So yeah, they're very good drivers. That shows the quality of this championship. Alex Simpson up in 8th position. So, Sammy will be fairly happy with that.
Yes, we're not biased at all. But come on, Alex, get up there. 4,000s to Davies. Can't lose to an amateur. Come on, this Alex Simpson, a former World Championship Grand Prix driver, obviously.
Outside the top 8 in the championship as well for him. He's in a very similar position to Wojciech Swidovic in terms of points. They're very closely matched, those two, at the moment. He really needs a weekend on par with what you were saying Swidovic requires in order to put himself in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's got to the point now where you need the others to start losing. It's like the end of a football season when you need to start waiting for the others to let the pressure get to them. The problem in this series is that you don't need 1 or 2 drivers to have problems. You need 8 or 9 drivers to have problems in order to make up the gap. So that will be tricky for Simpson, but he's just got to do what he can do. Tries to win all the races that he can. And at least finishing the end of the season with the most amount of race would be quite a good achievement. Cedric and Sutton back to the pit, so Guinness is looking good, and also Balfour, Simmons, McFarlane all back in the pit, so they're the main rivals, and they are not going to be able to rival Guinness at the top. Can Leitner do anything against his teammate? That doesn't look like a very good toe for Leitner, so I'm sceptical unless this car just in front of him slows right down and gives him a glorious toe down to Parabolica.
Yeah, and the second half of the lap here just as important as the first. The more technical section, really, if you include the 2 Lesmo bends, the Ascari, triple chicane, and the Parabolica. And nobody can overhaul then Corentin Guinet. He starts on pole position for race 1 of the day, and then the grid for race 2 will be determined by the not by the reverse grid wheel, but by the random number generator of dreams, and that will invert 22 drivers. So on one of the most competitive days of the season, Sam, in terms of how close everybody is together, we're going to only see 22 of them swapping over. That midfield battle is going to be electric.
It really is. You need need to finish in the top 22, and we'll see the grid in a second go down to those positions. But I see Jason Cooper, Dennis Neidhart, Jamie Rushworth, Craig Williams, Jake Blackhall, all mega competitive drivers, and they are going to be fighting for that 22nd position in reverse grid pole. So it could get a bit tasty down there. That was one of the concerns amongst the stewards before the season started. When you know what the reverse grid is going to be, you're going to fight extra hard for it. Just tell you what, I pick up a penalty, I'm going to get reverse grid pole.
We haven't seen anybody Alan menu it so far this season, but we could. It's possible. We won't put it past them. No, usually, I'll be honest, the sportsmanship and the cleanliness of driving this season, as you see Wojciech Svidovic starting from 44th place, I assume that's a penalty, starting down there. Kieran Harrison in 40th as well. Watch for those two guys charging through the field. So Guinea, Sedgwick, Sutton, Leitner, Balfour, Simmons, McFarlane, Staney, Davies and Alex Simpson are the top 10, and in a moment we're going to get 5 red lights. When they go out, we're going to be racing at Monza. It's a long run to the first corner, so this should be absolutely fantastic. HM Engineering on pole then with Guinea, and we'll see what he can do on the charge. Here we go. 5 red lights coming on. The lights are off, the race is on. Very, very short hold indeed. That will have taken a few drivers by surprise. Guinea gets a really good launch, but it's not just to the Rettifilio that he has to protect. He has to protect all the way through Curva Grande and to the Curva della Roggia South.
Yeah, gotta get that car right to the inside. Cedric trying to pressurize him into the first corner. Sutton going the long way round, gets a little bit out of the wake. He will just have the inside line so he will get safely onto the pit. It's going to be a massive braking area, 3 wide. Further back, Beginner's has positioned his car absolutely perfectly. Sutton moves up a position. Oh, we got a car further down, and that's going to be a rolling pin effect, although it could have been a whole lot worse. A couple of the beating drivers nearly coming together. Harrison as well, losing out big time, a bit more of a skirmish further down the order. Have a good driving, especially from the drivers up the front. It was, Roy losing 8 positions down there. Also, Johnston with a good start. He's gained 6 places, but in the top 20 very little bit.
Car around sideways was Baron Glover, so decent qualifying for him, not really turning into a great start to the race, but he is still going, and he is currently in 37th place. So let's see then, Guinea leads then, Sutton second, great start for Sutton. Sedgwick in third, Leitner in 4th, then Simmons, then Balfour. Coming out of Ascari then. See how long this train is. You see one of the Freem cars going wide. That's Jamie Rushworth. Now he's going to be 3 wide. Look at this overhead shot, giving you absolutely fantastic view. George Simmons has had a slowdown penalty, and that's going to put him down outside the top 10. So Simmons has lost several places there. And when you get slowdowns on this track, Sam, it's very, very difficult to keep your place.
Yeah, that's going to be 5-10 places gone straight away. Meanwhile, up at the front, Keena's not making the jump. Here comes Sutton. That's a lot of speed. Will go the long way around. It's just about a car's width. There's nowhere for Leitner to go, despite having a lot of speed. We give a bump job perhaps to his teammate. Can't really do it. And Sutton and Sedgwick taking the lead there. They clash into one another, please, guys. And Sutton will hold on to it, I think.
Yeah, a lot of overspeed for Leitner, as they punched a massive hole in the air for him. Hungarian hungry for the lead, couldn't quite get that one done though at this time. Still just outside the podium. If you're wanting a bit of the bubbly at the end of this one. But Guinea and now side by side with Cedric, the HM Engineering car on the outside. Cedric through and stays in second place. You can see Nathan Davies on the back of this group then, with the Welsh flag on his bonnet, going well here and really showing a good turn of speed on these Monza straights. Jason Staney is off for Craig's setup shot then as they go through Curva de Seraglio and go down to Ascari.
That's a few places lost for Staney, who started way further up than that, didn't he? But has dropped down quite significantly so far. Yeah, down to 10 places so far. Just finally, George Simmons down 11 places. We've had
that's a big one under the bridge, my goodness.
And
Wojciech Svidovic, Sam.
Yeah, I don't think we'll call a safety car there.
Somebody's going back. Oh, Skip Stevens going backwards down the straight towards Ascari. He needs to get that one turned around quickly. Not in the Alex Smolensky school of J-turns, I must admit. Kip, bloody hell. That was close. Oh dear. I think that was Jack Ashton who was breathing a sigh of relief on that one. Sutton is pushing Sedgwick then. But Guinea and Leitner, now this is turning into a race on the Talladega Super Speedway, Sam, because we've got the two-car tango going on.
Yeah, here we go. Pushing either way. Oh, I thought Guinness was going to go down the inside there. Or sorry, that was Leitner trying to go down the inside. That would have been absolutely disastrous. Guinness retakes the lead.
Just kind of slipped off, didn't he? Kind of slipped off the draft. These cars not designed for bump drafting, as with the rounded noses.
So Guinness getting ahead. So it seems like it's that third in line, isn't it, where you want to be in order to get the move done into Curva Grande, because it's such a wide circuit that you can, well, it's not that wide a circuit, but it's wide enough at least that you can go 3 wide. So whoever's in third gets the momentum and manages to drag ahead of the other 2. But of course, whether you want to be there on the last lap, whether you can get that gain coming out of Parabolica is another question. So well, I don't really know what the drivers want to do at this point.
As I was just about to point out, actually, you make a very good point. So far, nobody's passed anyone by the start line. So we need to already, at this stage of the race, yes, it's only lap 3 of 11, we need to prepare everyone for the final lap and say, watch that run to the line coming out of Parabolica, because we're going to see a hard battle, but so far nobody's been able to overhaul the leader coming out of Parabolica. So I wonder if these drivers now, with Sedgwick moving inside, he might be testing the water, Sam, in terms of, if I overtake in the last corner, can I keep it to the start-finish line? Because remember, the start-finish line very, very early here at Monza. And in fact, it is only here.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to have enough room, so I think you could maybe overtake into Parabolica.
Oh, my word, that was a late change, wasn't it? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sutton going up the inside. It's going to be 3 wide then, through the runoff area.
I think Sutton again was third in line there, and he gets ahead of Guinness, who does hold on to second, at least on this occasion. Janssen just going ahead of Davies a little bit further back. Guinness actually fighting this one a little bit more, and he'll have the better line on Sutton. Now goes to Sutton. Oh, he's made a mistake there. He needs to make sure he doesn't cut the chicane, and he didn't. That was a good drive there from Sutton. A lot of drivers would have just cut the chicane there, but the slowdown would have been really costly. Instead, he's kept on the course, so he should be able to tow himself back up to Guinness.
Did he get a tap from Sedgwick, possibly?
I think he tapped he put a wheel on the grass.
Or did he put it on the grass, did he? Yeah. It was hard to tell from that angle, actually. I wasn't really looking at the side of his car. I was kind of looking at the other leaders, but as you mentioned, it seems to be third in line is working very well. Usually third in line to the throne doesn't get you a hell of a lot, but today could make you crowned king by the end.
And that's an Apex car, or a pure Sims car. They are identical. It is an Apex car. That's Simpson losing out to Davies. So Davies has been going downhill in the last few laps, I think. But at least he's kept that position.
Oh my God, on the grass is
on the track. Sorry, that was Mangan off the circuit. I think he collided with Masseter, maybe. They were certainly very close to one another, and that's a few places that he's lost, just as though he was going to get past Simpson.
Yeah, former Apex driver there, Oscar Mangan, trying to go the scenic route to try and get past his former team principal, Alex Simpson. And Trendle. Well, I tell you what, I wouldn't be bump drafting George Simmons. No offence to George, but his internet is powered by a stale potato. And so there'll be no current going through that at all. As Simmons, I would, if I were Alex Simpson, I would not want to be side by side with George Simmons. Simmons is quite high up in the championship, but goodness me, I would not be, not with that internet connection. I wouldn't be touching the car anyway. As you've got to treat it like it's got COVID-19, honestly, that car, because it could just disappear and appear at any moment. Yes. Oh, and that is the pole position man, Corentin Guinet. He's off in the gravel and he's been joined by Facundo Britos.
So Guinness, who was leading, Sutton was catching up to him. Remember, Sutton dropped off and then only caught up to him
Ah, yeah.
His predicament there, he's not really expecting Sutton to hang around the outside, but there's something
Oh,
really that
dear,
Sutton can see.
Britos.
And then that was just unlucky for Britos.
Oh.
Well, he didn't even see him, maybe saw some yellow
No.
flags, but couldn't actually see the car in the distance, and he gets a big old whack, and that's going to compromise his straight line speed.
If you are following behind these Audi RS3s, then they are larger than you would expect. Especially when there's a few of them in a row, you can't really see very clearly where you're going. Adam Hadfield and well, more so Jason Cooper will probably have that issue right about now. This train goes all the way back. You've got a train from 1st to 9th. You've got a train from 10th to 19th. You've got a, sorry, for 18th, and you've got a train from 19th all the way down to 25th. Then it breaks up a little bit as you see some drivers who've been involved in accidents, but just 5.6 seconds, Sam, as you can see on the screen there, separates the leader, Jack Sedgwick, and 21st place Jake Blackhorse. Ross McFarlane goes to the lead there, reigning champion. He started in 7th position, and he's currently leading. Sedgwick almost leans on him through Curva Grande. That is a very difficult situation for all concerned, and you can see this pack just bunching up lap after lap. It had eased apart, hadn't it, Sam, a few minutes ago?
Yeah, when Guinness managed to pull away a little bit, but he couldn't break the draft after Sutton nearly cut the chicane. Now there's a little bit of a gap again, likely trying to avenge his teammate there. I don't know if he'll be a little bit more aggressive on Sutton after the incident that Sutton had with Guinness. Cedric
Well,
just
he's
running
lost
off the
his
second slightly.
He's lost his drafting partner as well, hasn't he? So that's one thing.
Yeah,
is that
up to 8. Yeah.
They probably had a good strategy, didn't they, coming into this one? It was working pretty well, but yeah, not so much for Guinet, who, like I said, ended up in Le Gravel. As
Did you learn Italian?
Davies, a bit. Ciao Marco. Buon pomeriggio. Buonasera. Maybe it's one of the two.
Grazie.
It's probably not quite the afternoon. Yeah. But Sedgwick leads the way then. I just chose to ignore that, to be honest. Sedgwick leads the way, quarter of a second clear of McFarlane, but a quarter of a second, absolutely nothing. You can see that eroding metre by metre. McFarlane, he's on the prowl. He's got the number 1 on his car. He wants it to stay that way. Great run here. Great run. And look at Sutton. This is what you said, Sam. 3rd car in line, gets the best run. He's now going to use that to push his colleague to the front.
Yep, that's the first time. Ooh, that's a big slide for Sutton.
Oh, man.
Keep the planted in that situation. It loses a bit of grip for the front tyres, and it enables the rear to grip up. But that was high speed drifting there for Sutton and Leitner right onto the back of these guys, as we would expect. Balfour, good work actually there from Balfour, because he stayed behind Leitner, didn't battle him. He realised that there's bigger fish to fry, and stayed behind, didn't lose them any time on the brakes, and they have caught back up to that leading train. So we have got that top 8 back together. Simpson up into 9th now, so there must have been an issue for a couple of drivers, because I think Simpson was 10th or 11th before that. Maybe Guinness was one of the drivers who dropped out. I think one of the others.
Simmons.
Yeah.
Oh, he passed Davies as well. So I think Simpson had lost a place to Evdoka, and then he gained 2 because he passed Davies, and then he passed Guinet, of course, when he went off the circuit. Harrison then in 23rd place. He started in 40th, Sam, so good race so far for him. He just needs 1 more position to try and get on the pole, or at least as high up the grid as he can. It's funny, you're trying to get high up the grid with this next position, and then he's going to try and get lower and lower as the race progresses.
Yeah, just needs to make up 1 more. I'm surprised Williams hasn't been as
Craig Williams will be saying, "Stop the counts," he'll be saying.
It's a great meme. We could deploy a safety car. That would send us to the end of the race, because we're on lap 8 already.
This race is rigged. It's very rigged. It's terrible. Now here comes Allison then. He's in the slip. He was in the slipstream of Williams, and we've got away from that because we're now looking at Trendle and Masida and David Baker, the former champion in 15.
Just got away from that kind of 9th to 11th battle as well. Harrison, is he going to be able to get past Williams? No, stays behind. I mean, surely there'll be an instant ahead of these guys anyway, which will promote them up. But Harrison might have to do the dirty work and get past Williams potentially. So McFarlane leading the way, then Cedric in 2nd place. And this is when the likes of Turnbull and Evdotka and Evdotka, Turnbull, Janssen and Balfour need to start making progress. You need to start getting up the train. It's alright so far in this race being a little bit further down the train, but this is when you need to start escalating places because you're not going to be able to overtake 5 cars on the last lap, no matter how good your draft is.
I've seen it here.
The track's not wide enough. The track's not.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that race in the GT series that we covered when they were 5th place? I think Matt Bunn was 5th on the last lap. He come through and he ended up winning the race, I believe. So yeah, anything is possible around Monza, that's for sure. McFarlane leads the way then. Let's see once again if he can keep that lead to the start line. I wonder if Cedric's going to start using this as a bit of a litmus test. But you are right, those guys at the back of this queue, Janssen, Evdotka, Balfour is what I'm thinking. They're the ones who haven't been at the front to this point in this race, and so they'll be wanting to come as far up the field as possible. Mangan started 17th, Evdotka 15th, Turnbull 12th, Janssen 11th. Really cut through the potential minefield that this is. This is really, you know, a bit like NASCAR's showdown round at Talladega, and I mentioned Talladega earlier, Sam, but this is kind of our slight lottery round, isn't it, where you can have a big one, you can have a few incidences. They go side by side into the Rogia.
Slow down. Surely got a bit slow down from McFarlane there. He was all 4 wheels off the circuit. I think iRacing, you should give a slow down for that. No, he's got away with it. That was so close. I don't know if anyone on the chat. Welcome to Adam Hedgecock, by the way, and Marky Barbner in on the YouTube chat. But yeah, I thought that was going to be a slow down. Turns out it wasn't.
No, indeed, and well, he's got away with it. Can he parlay his good fortune into a win? We'll find out in 2.5 laps' time. That is very close down the straight between Leitner and Carl Janssen. That's super close. Can't believe they managed to do that without making any contact. But like Mansell and Senna, that was going down there. That's about as far apart as those two were as well in 1991.
Because of that, Balfour managed to get ahead of Leitner then, so Balfour's escalating up the order. He's now only got he's got a little bit of a gap to Sutton, but he will be dangerous as Leitner lets go to Janssen as well. Surprised he didn't fight that a bit more, but now they've got to start working together and try to catch back up to the lead guys. Turnbull not with a very good exit. He's going to be under pressure from Evdotka, and also Mangan rejoining this battle. And finally, Alex Simpson's been able to append to the back of this chain. He's been the lead driver from the second chain, the peloton, this entire event, but finally he's been able to get onto the back of the driver, so it might be a little bit too little too late with 2 laps to go. Cedric versus McFarlane. Ooh, they seem to be quite happy staying there, and so maybe they're leaving it till the last lap. They want to be in 2nd or 3rd across the line going on to lap 11.
One more French for you. This is the Tête de la Course, and Cedric leads it. McFarlane 2nd, Sutton 3rd. Little wide for Cedric there. It's not going to bother him too much, at least on the run into Lesmo 1. So it's quite a short run out of there, but it's going to be interesting to see who's going to pull the trigger. It's almost like a cycling race, so it's almost like, you know, a 125cc motorbike race, a Moto 3 race for those who are a bit younger than me. But you almost don't want to be ahead of the queue, do you, Sam? Especially going on to the final lap, really, because there's just so many opportunities for the guys behind to pass you.
I don't know what Sutton's doing on this lap. He's randomly dropped back. I think he's too far back at the moment. He needs to get a move on with it because he needs to be a bit closer to the back of McFarlane, unless he's trying to help out his teammate perhaps and tries to keep the others behind.
He was 5/10. He got up to 6/10, and it's now back to 5/10 again. He can't win the championship, Ash Sutton. He's too far behind. He's missed too many rounds over the the last couple of months, but
That's a
he
better run.
can hold back the chasing pack, really. And he can do that. Obviously, his experience tells him he could probably do that 1 or 2 tenths at a time. He doesn't have to make it noticeable. He doesn't have to sort of do anything egregious, but he just has to prevent that pack and maybe give his man Ross McFarlane a fighting chance of having maybe a one-on-one battle with Jack Sedgwick.
Farland ahead then.
I wonder if Sutton will now try to slip past. Sorry, Sam, based on what you said.
Yeah, oh, it's all going on behind as well, but McFarlane crucially ahead, and Cedric's going to have to pull off a miraculous move into parabolic if he's going to win this race. And Docker moves ahead of Turnbull, who was just shoved off. Oh, and lots what's going on a little bit further ahead. I think that's Cedric trying to get past McFarlane, and McFarlane's off. On the circuit, he's going to lose a bunch of positions. And he's into the wall. Bang. And the defending champion is going to lose a lot of points. And who else is in the wall? Davies is out.
Oh dear.
And they're outside the reverse grid now as well. This is terrible for these drivers. And Mangan's into the wall once again. That is huge for the championship.
That might be terminal for Oscar Mangan. Sutton has taken Cedric then on the run up to Ascari. This is the final lap. Ash Sutton leads the way. McFarlane out of the race. We'll have to see how that came about shortly, but or out of the race at the front at the very least. Sutton leads the way. He's got lap traffic in front of him. I might have given him half a tenth worth of slipstream, maybe. Into the parabolic of the side-by-side. Jack Sedgwick on the outside. Ash Sutton on the inside. The two-time PTCC champion. He forces him almost sort of the edge of the circuit where the painted line is. And Carl Janssen might get in the action as well, but it's going to be Ash Sutton who crosses the line for his first ARLTC win since claiming his second title. What a brilliant race on the last lap, Sam.
We're going to have to get a replay of what happened at the Lesmo, because it all really got to a boil. It looked like Cedric and McFarlane were getting aggressive, trying to get a track position. And I think it may have even been 3 wide as well into that corner. And yeah, like I said, absolutely huge for the championship. That now the championship rivals winning that race. Of course, Sutton is out of it. I think Janssen is out of it. Yeah, Jansen's not going to win the championship either, so no one's scoring massive points, but that is still real bad news for the drivers involved. Wilson off the circuit right at the end. These guys outside the reverse grid places. And Rushworth had an absolute mare earlier on, and it would be Ward and Berge beating Wilson there. Yeah, Mangan third place in the championship, dropping right down. McFarlane, he is fourth place in the championship, dropping well down. Turnbull managed to get across the line in 6th position in the end.
No,
not too bad for him, but yeah, bad news for the others.
Sorry, mate. The saving grace for these guys is that McFarlane did finish the race in 25. Oh, it's Cedric up the inside. Can we see that again from maybe a little bit further back, maybe a few seconds before? Because the sessions changed over. Unfortunately, that was the only chance we got to see it. Didn't quite see what happened before that. How far Cedric, whether he got alongside and then McFarlane's moved over, or whether he's just trying to squeeze through a gap that isn't there. Jury's out on that one. I'm sure the stewards will have plenty to say about that during the coming week or so. But yeah, saving grace for McFarlane. Sam was only about 2.5 minutes away from the start of race 2. For Ross McFarlane is that at least he finished the race, so he will at least score some points. And everybody actually and Oscar Mangan, with it being on the last lap, everyone still scores.
Yeah, that's going to be important, because even if you finish down in 30th, that's still about 50 points, I believe. Whereas if you finished more than 1 lap down, that's 0 points. So that is important. Yeah. But outside the reverse grid, I mean, that's phase 2 wrecks.
If you're going to DNF, do it on the last lap, because the worst thing that can happen in this championship, at least, is a DNF early on in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see the drivers go down the order. And yeah, that's insanely close. 9.9 seconds separating the top 22. Mark Woodhouse, in the end, quite a separation, wasn't there, between 22nd and 23rd? So Woodhouse gets reverse grid pole. Only a couple of amateur drivers in that range as well.
Britos did okay to finish 23rd because the last we saw of him was he was going through the gravel hitting Guinea after he'd gone off.
I think his car was quite square shaped by the end as well. So it's not very Adrian Newey aerodynamically inspired that. Ross McBride, their car number 1, down in 24th position and banging down there as well. Yeah, we don't have a live board, but I think that might mean that Dave Baker is leading the championship. It's really tricky to tell though, of course, because we have the drop rounds. The last 2 rounds of the championship can't be dropped, and I believe the drivers get 2 drop rounds in the first 12 rounds. So it's all a bit ambiguous with the drop scores. But our best estimate is that now Baker is leading the championship, I think. How did Balfour do in that one? Did he drop down, or did he do... may have done all right, actually.
Balfour was 4th.
Yeah, so Balfour actually probably leading the way. But actually, Baker now starts near the front for this race too. It's going to be big. He needs to score big in this race too.
Indeed he will. Mark Woodhouse on pole, and Craig Williams second, Jake Blackhall third. Then it's Dave Baker, Harrison, Cooper, Jason Staney, Dennis Neidhart, Pete Newman, and JB Mercedes. That's the top 10. Nathan Davies is the second highest AM, and he's in 12th position. So Woodhouse on pole, an AM driver. Let's see what he can do. Very quick driver in his own right. As the lights come on here at Monza, we're set for another 11 laps of furious action at the Cathedral of Speed. The lights are off and the race is on. It is a very good start by Woodhouse. He maintains a good distance over Williams. Blackhall already drawing alongside the Craig Setup Shop car and drawing past him into second position. So a really good start for Williams. For the Australian Blackhall, sorry, and he's already alongside Woodhouse. So Woodhouse 0.4 of a second gone in an absolute shot down the field as the Hitcham engineering car of Harrison manages to also get in the mix into the Curva della Roggia. Then who's going to break the latest? And is everyone going to get through cleanly? I wouldn't put a bet on it, but let's see. Blackhall into the lead then, sensational starter.
Yep, perfect launch, and maybe that third position is the place to be starting because he got a lovely draft. But Woodhouse staying within the draft zone. Williams will be fancying a race win right here. Baker with a poor start, dropping down below Harrison, but could be worse for him. Put down the Order Turnbull up 3 places, and Ducker up 3 places. Simmons up a couple of places. Hadfield with a poor start, and also Guinness already up 7 places from 41st on the grid. So now start for the driver who retired pretty much from race 1.
That's super close, Sam, in the midfield, going under the bridge. 2 or 3 wide there at times. Into Ascari for the first time. You see Simpson and Leitner going to battle. Simpson comes out ahead in that one. He's now off after Adam Hadfield, dear me, as 15th place is in dispute there. But this is the dispute for 3rd. Kieran Harrison. Sam has gone round the outside of Craig Williams. Oh, he's not quite clear, but he's going to have a strong exit. But Williams is going to get some side draft here going down the main straight.
Yeah, he's on an absolute mission right now. Is Kieran Harrison couldn't get past Williams pretty much all of race 1, but he's managed to get past him already in this race 2.
Blackhall leads by 2 seconds, Sam.
Yeah, he's broken the drafts.
What a start that is.
Doesn't matter about your netcode when you're 2 seconds ahead of everyone else.
He just
here comes Harrison.
He needs to concentrate on a clean lap here, Sam, and he could be home free.
Yeah, I think Harrison's the guy who's most likely to catch him just because of the way he's been able to size through the field so far. Also a tap, I think, from the Pure Sims car of Baker. Apologies. I think it was onto the back of Williams. He did a very good job to slow that one down. I'm not sure. Maybe Williams was having his own moment there. But Baker in 5th place. That's not usual. He's losing one.
Oh, no!
Absolutely messed it up. He's choking right now.
I've never seen a car that far off in Lisbon.
That is terrible to see. Jake Blackhall.
Oh, good Lord. He must have the stream on. Turn it off, man. Oh, dear. Oh, Jake. Oh, that is a cardinal sin, it really is. on the second lap. He's done all the hard work there, mate. He's got a good start. He's made the overtakes. He's got the lead. He's got a gap. And unfortunately, oh my God, that's Alex Simpson. That's big terrible crash for him then.
Yeah, Simpson going off the track, then coming back on. I don't think that was anyone's fault, but
and that might be his championship. There might be championship down the drain for him.
Yeah,
after that one, something happened to him to go across the car.
Back, down the straight, and he's bounced back across. Haven't got a pile up. That was one of the new drivers to the series. I think that was Jason Allen.
Jason Allen, though, yeah, had a decent racing race. Oh, that's Rushworth off and Glover. So 2 Americans in strife going down the back straight there. You see all these right-hand corners, you see. As Harrison, I'm sorry, guys. I apologise. Harrison leads the way then. And just ahead of Woodhouse. Woodhouse hanging in there after a good start from pole position. Sedgwick ahead of Sutton down the order. That could come into play a bit later on. Sutton back past Sedgwick. So interesting for that little scrap we saw in the first race. But Kieran Harrison, so often the fastest in practice.
No, it might be all right, so.
So often the fastest in practice, Kieran Harrison, but he hasn't had as many wins as he would have liked, as his pace might dictate. But he's in a good position here as we look at this nonsense in the Lesmos.
Yeah, so Sutton with a good start. Sedgwick did have some kind of off because he's lost about 4 places in a couple of laps, but in a couple of corners, but must have just gone wide at the Varianta. So a slight hold up there. We've got 2 different trains right now, or maybe 3 different trains, but certainly this is the front of one. Then Black call over the curb, and that was almost the same as Simpson, and it is pretty much the same as Simpson. Black call out, and well, if you had a bet on him for winning this race, you probably lost some money. I think some other people might have won a bit of money. So we've got 3 wide, and a different 3 are going to be at the front now, but it's turned into 2 by 2 on the brakes.
That's the last time I ever see anybody. So that's the last time I say anybody's got a chance to win a global race.
I feel like it's it.
Not only did he not win the race, he was out within 2 more laps. So I don't know what's gone on there. Trendell is at the back of this group. He's trying to make headway. Oh, late move there by Facundo Britos. And the first few letters of his name is probably what Trendell would have been saying in the cockpit there, as he was chopped across on a little bit at 170 miles an hour.
Oh, and they've made contact again. That's definitely contact between the 2 of them. This is
150 miles an hour. Let's be generous. Sorry, it's the Audi, not the Kia, isn't it? So, Britos!
Oh, he's made contact with McFarlane, but they've somehow kept control of it. They can't control these drivers. It's very good. Admittedly, these cars do make it a little bit easier with it being front-wheel drive. Also got in the barrier further back. That is
Darius Neidhart, I think.
No, yeah.
I think it's Darius Neidhart in the .exe car. Berridge and Roberts are together, and you would be confused from a distance for thinking those cars were almost the same if you look at them from the side. But Roberts has the predominantly green car, and Berridge in the predominantly blue car. Behind them, Sam, is another one of the Swedes, Salberg, who's going pretty well. Swedish driver Emil Salberg.
Yeah, I keep on getting Netherlands and Denmark confused with their flags. I was having an absolute mare of it yesterday. I'm sure Marky Babner in the chat will remind me of that. But unfortunately, not too many Scandinavian drivers in this series. In fact, look at that top 7. All British drivers. Apart from
we've got about 4 of them, but that's okay.
You should have seen yesterday. It was like the top 6 were all Italians and Norwegians yesterday. Or Danes. Sorry, I've done it again. I've got a problem. I'm sorry.
Didn't bring home the bacon on that one, did you?
No. Sutton getting a push from Leitner. These guys are so great. I mean, Sutton, Leitner, Janssen, Sedgwick, Bangen, McFarlane. That's the top 6 we had in race 1.
Down in the latter half of the lower part of the top 20.
had a huge crash further up. Who was that?
I don't think. Oh, it's Masida. Oh my God. Yeah, he very wisely reverses that out of the way. I would have done. So
It had to
JB
as well.
Masida, he went flying over the curves at Curva de la Roja. I'm not sure what caused it. He might have had a similar problem to what Ash Sutton did maybe in the first race. Woodhouse, by the way, very close to Harrison. The battle at the front is intensifying at the halfway point of this race.
Woodhouse has kind of just been staying behind him so far. Smart driving there from Woodhouse. He knows he's not going to be able to pull away. He knows that he's actually going to slow them up as Baker makes his move on Williams. Dave Baker gets a race win. I'm not sure how many races he's won this season, but certainly not the fastest driver out there, but benefiting from the relatively small reverse grid that we had. He's up into third position now. Cooper and Evdoka looking dangerous, but they need to try to stay clear of Newman because he's got Simmons on the back of him, and Simmons would be very dangerous if he could catch up to these guys. Fortunately for them, then really the next fast guy is maybe Balfour in 12th. He's a bit further back, and Sutton then in 15th. So these guys might be able to stay away from those mega quick guys by the end.
Turnbull was leading the championship for quite some time, so don't underestimate him. But this shows that any driver in the series can win races given the right day. This is why we love the ARLTC. It's parity of equipment. Obviously, teams can set up the car however they want, but this car, there isn't a vast amount of things that you can do to it to change it. You know, you won't see people winning, people lapping the entire field here, that is for sure. As Harrison continues on his way. Woodhouse is looking the quicker of the two at the moment, Sam. Even without the slipstream, he's looking a bit more assured than Kieran Harrison at the moment.
Yeah, it's Davies. Oh, Davies has had a problem. Still running though. 21 get reversed.
Did he go through the gravel there? Is that what, were they his tyre marks possibly?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think he picks up a slowdown, so I don't think he cut the chicane. But yeah, top 21 get reverse, so just stay within that range. Hadfield's off the circuit as well. He's had an awful few laps. He was up in the top 10 at one point, was Hadfield, but quite far away from that now.
Problem for Jason Ashton. He's crashed apparently and gone and had a bit of an issue. He's in 40th place at the moment. Is Ashton, the American, another American in the field. Good to see a few more of our friends from across the pond here today. And here we go then. Second place. Yeah, Baker could be a championship taker in just 3 weeks' time. Sorry, 2 weeks' time. In Sebring, we got Donington National next week, Sam. That should be fantastic. Should be very closely fought in a different way to this, but probably similar competition level. And then Sebring, the bumpy, very multifaceted circuit in Florida. Concrete jungle almost. It's very difficult.
Yeah, it's a nice end to the season. Donington, one of the drivers' favourites. Of course, we're using the national there as well, not the international, not the silly hairpin.
Adam Bath's favourite circuit, Donington National, pretty much.
Yes.
He's very quick there as well. It's a shame he commentates on the series, actually. I reckon he can give these boys a run for their money on that track. As that was very close. Jason Cooper, Sam, he tried to get through there, no space. We're already too wide in front of him.
And Harrison now 1.6 ahead of the rest. I think he's been able to break the chart. So Baker, maybe a bit over-optimistic, trying to go for second place. Maybe forced it a bit too much, and it's lost their touch with the top driver. And in fact,
he will have seen.
He
will have seen what happened to Blackhawk. He's not going to be counting his chickens. I tell you, it's going to need more than one good lap to break away from this field. Woodhouse is still gaining on the straights. He's still gained half a tenth. It's not a lot, but if he can keep pace with him, then slowly he'll reel him back into the point where that 1.8 second lead will fritter away. On board with Pete Newman. Pete's had a good season in terms of pace. He looks like he's increased his pace again in 2020, and he's fighting at the front nearly every week now. Oh, disappearing is Simmons. You see the potatoes spluttered into life again as he reappears.
And now it's Docker as well, trying to get past Cooper. Baker's also got past Woodhouse for second position, so now Baker needs to try to catch up to Harrison. Remember, 5 points difference between first and second, 100 points, then 95, and then 90. And there's like 86, 88, 86, and 84, 82, 80, and then I think 1 point down from there.
Oh
Not too wide into Curva Grande. That was a great run there for Williams, and Williams is up into second place. He was quite a bit behind those two drivers, but he's able to catch up, and Harrison, as long as he doesn't do a black hole, should be home and dry here. Baker drives it in deep, and he gets back ahead. Woodhouse just slowing up Williams ever so slightly there, and Cooper is off the circuit as well. He rejoins safely, but he's down into 9th place. That's 3 places lost there for Cooper.
Yeah, Curva Grande did used to be the first corner here for quite some time. Then we've gone through various iterations of chicane. We've had a double chicane at the Rettifilio. We've had a chicane that went right to left. You've had one with a kink before it. You've had the current version, which is a slow right-left chicane. This layout, I tell you, it absolutely terrifies these drivers, no doubt, when they're going side by side through there, especially 3 wide. But they should use the combined layout here, wouldn't you, with the banked oval? Why not? Why the hell not? I mean, they'll be asking for trouble, Sam, but it could work. You never know. He's on iRacing.
I like that idea. As someone who holds some power.
Oh, what have I done?
I think that's. I think we're going to see that on half the. That'll be half the races next season. Around that. We did actually host. Well, we didn't host one. We broadcasted a race on that layout, involving like 5 different classes. It was a lot of fun. So that is a good idea. Unfortunately, you get in there.
How many survived?
Not too many. Probably more than what would survive in this series.
I think we can say now, sorry, just to interrupt, I think we can say now that Harrison is clear. He just needs to remain mistake-free, but as we've seen, that's not always easy to do. As this battle intensifies, Woodhouse, Simmons, Turnbull and Docker within 1/10 of a second of each other, goodness me.
And they are not all pure Sims cars. One of them is an Apex car. Again, a driver dipping a wheel onto the grass. That was Simmons almost losing it, and he's been caught right up by Newman by about half a second, just on the brakes into the chicane.
He bounced over the curbs hard through Rozier, but he gave him a good run into Lesmo 1, and he's gonna take it, but Woodhouse still round the outside. He's gonna have the inside for Ascari. They bang wheels, Sam. That's a bit too close for comfort for them.
Oh, Pierre Sims.
My goodness.
Past late.
Oh, no, here comes Newman. What's Big Newman thinking about? Getting home safely is probably it, I think. In the end, he needs the points. Simmons fighting hard, then disappearing once more. You know, I know a lot of sim racing broadcasters don't necessarily like talking about things like him disappearing and lag and things like that, but it's a part of the game. It's a part of sim racing.
It's not a game.
Some people have technical problems. Some people have, you know, it's the equivalent of some kind of engine issue or performance issue. It means that it's just what happens in this sport.
Yep. Yes, and it's you know, a misfire, isn't it?
Except you can't see the opponent, which is both helpful for them and not at times.
He's absolutely stalling though. He tries to go down the middle. That's not going to work over onto the penultimate lap of the race. Oh, that's going to be very tight. Can he even get it turned in?
Oh, he's on the grass, Sam. Goodness me. Oh, tell you what, he survived it somehow. George Simmons. Can he stay ahead of Woodhouse? He can get ahead of Woodhouse into the Curva della Roggia. In the gravel is Woodhouse, courtesy of Newman. And here is... Oh, wow.
That's risky when you're going for a championship. But I think it's going to work out for him. They've lost a bunch of time. That's how quickly the other cars can get away from you.
You've got to take a risk in a field like this. Woodhouse in the gravel, Sam.
Oh, and that's into the wall for Staney, and he's back across. Oh, what are the others going to be able to do about this?
No, it's Leitner, Sam, it's Leitner. Leitner in the wall. We're going to have a pile up here. Surely. The track is blocked. We're going to need a safety car, I think, surely here. Oh, it might. Oh. Oh, no. Oh, jeez. No. Oh, everyone's got away with it, I think.
Well, a safety car has been called.
There's a yellow flag out there, and so that will be the end of that. But, oh, what a absolute mess that was. And it started, I believe Jason Staney went on the grass. I don't know if he was assisted there or whether that was just the way he went. But it caused, there was a chain reaction behind. Leitner hit the wall. I don't know, again, I don't know how he got there. No doubt we'll see the replay. In fact, we can see the replay here. We're looking at Jason Staney. So, Lesmo 2. He's in a bit of a concertina anyway. He gets hit up the rear. Oh, and then he gets hit by Woodhouse. Woodhouse pushed him onto the grass. And then Woodhouse collecting the car sends Leitner off into the wall. Leitner collects, I think that was Cedric, was it? Yeah, who then collects one of the Pure Sims cars. And then that all hell breaks loose after that.
Yeah,
we're going to see Wojciech Savidovic's view of proceedings.
So are they all going to be able to finish the race? Because even if they got damaged, they might still be able to crawl those cars across the line, across under safety cars. Yeah. So that would be how the race ends.
As well, they are once again, you know, less than 2 laps down. So even if they have retired back to the pits, they will score some championship points for this race.
Well, if they're yeah, I guess that was on the penultimate lap, wasn't it? So they can only finish. But no, if they're 2 laps down, then they don't score points.
They'll be less than 2 laps down, won't they? Because you counted as finishing that lap, aren't you? If you
are you? I think if you tow back on the last lap, though, you're 1 lap down, though, aren't you? So if you tow back on the penultimate lap, then you're 2 laps down.
Probably. That sounds right. It sounds right.
You're right.
Who knows?
In the fact that you tow ahead, so you walk to complete the lap. But I think iRacing do it weirdly. And,
because the person who tows back to the pits though usually gets put at the top of the standings, don't they? Weirdly.
Yeah. But
so who knows?
The lap gets counted though if you then retire. But I mean, in terms of the championship contenders, then so Sutton up into 10th. It looks as though Trendell is going to get reverse grid pole ahead of Berridge and Gregory. McFarlane in 17th place, Mangan in 15th, and Balfour getting up to 7th place. He might be a little bit annoyed that we had this safety car because he may have been able to get up a little bit more, but I don't think there was any doubts that he was going to win the race because Hassan been able to break the gap to about 2 seconds.
You're right, actually, by the way. I think I'm talking rubbish. You have to complete lap 10, don't you, to get scored 1 lap down, because of course then you just don't, the only lap you don't finish is the last one. So that's me being a stupid idiot, ladies and gentlemen. Right, this is the final corner of the race. Kieran Harrison, well, he fought through from 5th on the grid. He made a good start. He was ahead of Mark Woodhouse early on. He managed to just about stay in front, and then all it took was a few moments really to gain the 2-second lead that he had when the safety car came out. But it's going to be a win for Kieran Harrison. It's going to be a win for HM Engineering here at Monza, and it's going to be well deserved indeed. Coming across the line of Simmons, I think he might have thought he needed to go in the pits there, but not so much. Race over. The winner is Kieran Harrison.
Yeah, Baker taking some big points in 2nd place, Williams in 3rd. Top of the amateur drivers will be Woodhouse, despite getting involved in that big old wreck. I'm not sure if he would have got to the end if it weren't for the safety car. I wonder if we could get a shot of his car, see how damaged it is. But he managed to get home in 13th place, and that will be invaluable to him, I'm sure. As we tick over to race 3, and yeah, probably about a 5-minute break till we launch into that one. In fact, 10-minute break until we launch into that one. In fact, Guinness is still running, so he needs to catch up. Yeah. Is he 1 lap down? No, so he's on the lead lap, isn't he? I don't know how he's that far back when we're on to safety car, but there you go.
Well, I mean, he's getting to the end though. That is for sure. Car is a bit damaged, but yeah, he's going to be coming through. He gets a bit of screen time on his own. He get pole position in today's meeting. Yeah, he's going to finish race 2 with a bit of a whimper, unfortunately. 38th place, so he will score points. And that is important, as we said. He is just going to be... he's going to be a long time down in terms of time. But, yeah, he's going to finish on the lead lap, just about.
Yep. Oh, don't come into the pits. Come on. We've waited long enough.
He did the right thing in the end there.
He's across the line, and the checker flag is...
Oh, it just said plus 1 lap for him, actually, so that's interesting.
So yeah, he definitely needs to reach the line, didn't he? If he was going to score points, if he was already over a lap down. There is Harrison winning out.
Yeah, Harrison takes the win, then Dave Baker in 2nd, ahead of Craig Williams and Michael Evdoka, Matt Turnbull in 5th, George Simmons 6th, 7th for Ross Balfour, 8th Pete Newman, 9th Jason Cooper, and Carl Janssen in 10th, followed by Jason Staney, Mark Woodhouse, the leading AM driver, Dennis Neidhart in 13th, Oscar Mangan in 14th, ahead of Nathan Davies, Ross McFarlane 16th, 17th for Rickard Carlson, ahead of Ben Gregory in 18th, 19th will go to Lee Berridge, the boosted car, in 19th, Emil Salberg in 20th, JB Masida 21st, 22nd for Jamie Wilson, 23rd for Alex Simpson after the offer Ascari, Marius Breuer in 24th, 25th for Marcel Fritsch, 26th Darius Neidhart, then Jamie Rushworth, Toby Ward, Wojciech Svidovic, John Roberts in 30th, and Kip Stevens, Jason Ashton, Mark Johnston, Baron Glover in 34th place, then Ash Sutton 35th, 36th Simon Trendell, Adam Hadfield 37th, Corentin Guinet in 38th. And then the cars 1 lap down, Norbert Leitner, Facundo Britos, Jack Sedgwick, they will score championship points. And the ones who won't score any points, Jason Allen, the Mad Moose Media car, Jake Mackle 43rd, Damien Harris 44th, and Morgan Butler in 45th. And I believe that is the lot for this race. We're going to take a short break now as the drivers have a 10-minute warm-up before race 3, just to shake out any cobwebs or to dial in maybe some new settings, who knows. But we're going to be back after a word from the sponsors. We'll be back for Apex Racing TV's 3rd race of the day after the break. Welcome back to Apex Racing TV and the ARLTC round 3 of the day. Autodromo Nazionale Monza in Italy. Hello everybody, I'm Andrew Woodhouse alongside Sam Fitzpatrick. Once again, Sam Kumo is in the director's box. Not the kind of one where you get a free lunch, but the one where he can bring you all the great footage that you see on the screen today. Sam, we've had a great meeting so far. We look set to go again with round 3 of the day.
Yeah, it's been chaotic, hasn't it? That race one in particular really messed things up, and then race 2 finishing under the safety car. Now we have to wait to see what this race 3 is going to hold. Not many top drivers in the top 4 at least, but then you have got some top drivers in McFarlane and Mangan and Kay a little bit further back, so they're going to be very dangerous. Once again, championship important in this third to last meeting of the season.
JB Masida then is on pole position. Salberg, Berridge and Gregory, the top 4. And here we go with the 5 red lights once more. Lights are off and the race is on for the final time today. It's a good start by Masida, really solid off the line. Salberg's got a good second phase though. He might be able to get close. And this first part of the straight, of course, they have a long run. Masida's staying on the left. It is the inside for Curva de la Roggia, so have to see if he can stay alongside Salberg into there. Let's see who's going to be latest on the brakes between the Frenchman and the man from Sweden. Here we go then, late on the brakes for them. Oh, Masida, lovely job. Lovely job of getting that done, Sam.
And McFarlane getting ahead. Ooh, a little bit of a slow into the chicane, and that's Guinness again. Come on, he hasn't done that much wrong today, Guinness, but he's been involved in a lot of stuff, and from pole position, he's not going to get a top 30 probably tonight, which is remarkable. I think that's Rushworth together with the car number 7.
Jason
no, that's
Cooper.
Newman and Cooper getting together. And this whole pack is really slow. They've opened up a 1.2 second gap to Janssen. It's Woodhouse and Turnbull at the front of this one. It's 2 where they're going to lose more time through a sky. I think Woodhouse is just clear of the others onto the brakes. And that's Cooper losing a bunch of positions. I thought Cooper would be a bit more aggressive than that, but he was really hesitant to turn into the corner, and he's lost a couple of places.
Got to survive this first lap though, Sam. We've seen just how many people tonight have not. And Simmons is going to look for the gap. He's ultra aggressive, is Josh Simmons. And he's going to look for a move on the inside on Cooper. He's actually forced Cooper across the track in defence, back out to the normal racing line. He's going to get a good run out here, is Jason. Goes a bit wide onto the painted area. It's not going to bother him too much though. He stays ahead for now, over the start-finish line to start lap 2. McFarlane looks like he's going to take the lead, Sam, as well.
Now he's pushing Masida along at the moment. So Frenchman back to the lead, as we saw Guinness in the lead for much of race 1. That was very generous from McFarlane. I thought he would just go for it and try to pull away, but instead he's been willing to stay behind. Will he go for it on the brakes into the chicane? No. I think that was an accident, to be honest. I think he outbraked himself, and now they're really getting held up. And McFarlane's got to get past ASAP, as we've got Gregory and Berridge, who started in very good positions round, and Gregory just trying to get a better re-entry. Meanwhile, Solberg past McFarlane. So what has happened to McFarlane? He was hesitant getting past Masida, and that hesitancy has invited Solberg right back into it, who's alongside him.
Yeah, Swedish driver, fairly new to the championship. He's done 2 or 3 meetings, but showing that he's mixing it with the best out there. Solberg, the AM driver. Ricard Carlson, his countryman, is behind him in 4th position. See him there in car 199. He's ahead of Carl Janssen at the moment.
Mangan not with a particularly good start, only the 1 place gain for Mangan so far, so he's not really able to put much pressure on the top 3. I wonder if McFarlane will go for it this time on Masida. In fact, he's already gone for it. He's not even waiting for Curva Grande. He's like, I've got to get past this guy now, but that will leave him vulnerable down this next straight.
This is Parabolic has actually proved to be maybe a better overtaking place, as daft as it sounds, because you can actually outbrake the opponent. Here you've got to rely on a slipstream which isn't that strong. in this Audi RS3. It's not massive. Unless you get a run like Salberg's got. I'm amazed actually that Salberg didn't use that overspeed that time to go through. We've got a 3-car train. This train is comprised of 3 carriages. McFarlane, Mercedes and Salberg, reigning champion Ross McFarlane at the head of the field again.
And Janssen grabbing onto the back of these guys. It is now, oh wow, so pretty much the top 22 are now in a train. There's not more than 4 tenths between any of the top 22. You can see it now. And I mean, if you're on board in 15th place here, you could just see cars. You can't see the end of the train.
It's like the old Nokia Snake game. It'll eventually start eating itself.
You can see it on the map. It's like distinguishing those circles.
Our timing screen, which shows interval gaps as a representation of colour, a bit like in the battle box, just has orange and red all over. In fact, you can see it there. Lovely work by Sam Kumar there to bring that up. See, that's just all orange and yellow. Very, very close battles indeed. Some within 1/10 of a second, and Janssen going up into 3rd position. And they were looking at Wojciech Savinovic. Oh! Wojciech Savinovic and Jamie Wilson there getting together at Ascari.
Like they came together last week as well, but I'm not sure about that one. But
Savinovic observing social distancing a bit more.
Yeah, Savinovic off the circuit, and this is kind of the next big pack.
Oh my word, what's Jack Sedgwick doing?
Well, that's not going to work. Won't work. There you go.
Oh!
Well, it's worked for him.
It works beautifully.
Hasn't worked for the others. That was, who was that jumping down? So that's Wilson who's lost.
That was
about 8 places.
He got, in fairness, it wasn't that smart. He got lucky, but it worked out. Hey, when it works out, it still counts as a brilliant move, and it was. Whether it's very well judged or not is another matter. Farland leads, Mercedes second. They've got a bit of a gap, 9 tenths of a second now, over Carl Janssen. Carlsen 4th, and then it's Neidhart. It's Dennis Neidhart, 2 Neidharts in the race. Darius is in, well, he was in the race earlier on, I think 28th position for Darius Neidhart. We're on board with Mark Woodhouse. This is the best seat in the house. The Woodhouse, I suppose.
Knocks it out of the park. Yeah, he's right behind Turnbull. Mangan still not doing a lot. I thought Mangan would be a little bit faster than this. Maybe he's just driving it smart, to be fair, and just thinking, I'm doing well in the championship. I might be leading the championship after this. Well, actually,
DNFing.
DNFing
is the biggest sin you can commit in this championship. Especially, you know, before the final lap, because no points. You know, everybody gets a fair chunk of points here. It's not like Formula 1 where everyone outside the top 10 doesn't score, so if you're 19th and you crash out, it doesn't matter. If you're 40th or 50th or even 60th, we've had in the past 60 cars finishing a race, you will still score points. It won't be many, but it will be some.
Yeah, so that's 7th place, not too bad for him. I mean, even if he did get 3rd place, that's only an extra 10 points, probably.
You'd be lucky to get 3rd place at this rate, I tell you, but we'll see.
But yeah, that would have been the ideal situation for him before the race started.
Carlson's quick. Carlson, you know, Carlson is no slouch, neither is Neidhart. So it might not be super easy for Oscar to make his way forward from a teammate in Apex Racing team, Oscar Mangan. Oh, sideways for Mercedes. That's not going to help his pursuit of McFarlane. He hasn't lost too much. He's only lost about 1/10 of a second there, Sam. I've got a feeling if that was me, I'd have lost about 3 seconds doing that. As it's all kicking off in the background, it's Evdoka, it's Baker, it's Davies.
And Sutton.
Yeah.
Again.
Oh, well, that's why it's probably kicking off, to be honest. Because Sutton's arrived on the scene. Takes no prisoners. Both for good and bad, Sutton. He'll admit that himself, I'm sure.
Baker, of course, in the championship hunt, Mr. Consistent. Not a 6th place so far for Baker tonight, but podium in race 2. He'd be happy with 14th, I think, if he managed to get home because he's got some quick drivers behind him. Meanwhile,
Dave Baker looking to become a 2-time champion, sir.
When did he last win?
It was 2014, season 7.
Wow.
Or
Okay.
2015. 2014, winter series, season 7, yeah.
Was that a full length season?
No, it was the same season, same length as this.
Aha, okay.
So last time I won a race in this series was 2014.
Yeah, that's different time. That was 2 years before I joined iRacing. Man, how long this
Dave
series
Baker
been
won
around
as
for.
many races as me in that season. He won the title. There you go.
Keke Rosberg.
I mean, I only did 3 races, but it doesn't matter. So it's Salberg. Then I wouldn't have won the title if I'd done them all. Let's be honest. But that's how consistent Baker is, though. I know it's. I know I make the joke about me, but Baker can just compile a season, Sam, like no other. Wojciech Savidovic is very similar to that as well. He just gets the points. You know, doesn't often do anything massively flashy. He'll tell you that himself. He just makes sure he gets to the end. Oh, look at that! Salberg under threat from Turnbull. But that's one thing, Sam, that Dave Baker will tell you, is that he's been in this championship long enough now. He knows how it all works. He knows what he needs to do every meeting.
Yeah, he's put together a very good championship. Mangan up ahead of Carlson then. So the Swedes in 6th and 7th. Mangan could win this race because he's just within draft of Neidhart, and Neidhart is just within draft of Masida. Sorry, I had an aneurysm there. And so he could still be able to pull himself up to the
Welcome to ARLTC commentary. That's it. Oh, this is close to Ascari. And that's Harrison, Simmons, Cooper. Oh, yeah, it's definitely Simmons. It's not hard to tell which car George Simmons is in. It's the one that's only there 50% of the time. Now, George is a very good driver, though. You know, I make jokes about his internet connection, and those are perfectly justified. But he's very good on the track, and there's no question he's won many races in this series as well. Jason Cooper pushing hard. These guys are on the rev limiter coming down the straight, Sam. They really are testing the absolute peak of performance of this Audi RS3. 155 miles an hour down the pit straight here. And then they have to brake almost in Curva Grande. That's the thing, Curva Grande, Sam, is normally not a corner which you take too much notice of in a dry race with the first chicane applied.
Yeah, it's not usually a corner. In a lot of races, Simmons chops out. Mdoka
he's going to hit him. He has.
And he's all right. Solberg and
he's pushed Cooper off though, Sam.
Circuit. And yeah, like you say, Cooper off the track. Baker down into 15th now. And this Sutton in 16th. He hasn't been able to make a whole lot of an impression through this, but Balfour is now at the front there. Oh, Mars off the circuit, and that's Newman.
Oh,
Newman
no.
into the wall.
Newman in the fence then, and that looks like, wow, it looks like he's gone straight on. Those are 2 straight tire marks going off into the gravel. So something a bit odd for Newman maybe. And this is going to be
from Turnbull.
I don't think that's going to work, and he realises that. He knows that, does Matt Turnbull. It's on his first season in the championship, and he's banging wheel arches with another rookie, Kieran Harrison. But one of these 2 rookies could take the title at the end of the season. That's how sensational this rookie crop has been. The best rookies, I was talking to Adam Bath the other day, this is the best group of rookies we've had in this series ever.
Yep, I'd certainly second that. Last season didn't make too much of an impression. It was the established car, but many drivers making a great impression this season. Woodhouse with the drop from Turnbull.
And it's made people sit up, you know. It's made the people who've got a lot of races under their belt. Some people in this championship have 1,000 races nearly under their belt. Just let that sink in. That is an absolutely crazy amount of races. And when you think, oh my goodness, 3 wide again, that is crazy. 2 by 2 in front of them. But when you think just how hard it would be as a rookie to come into something where someone has done that 1,000 times. That's the task ahead of these guys, and they've done it brilliantly. And look at this.
Oh, that's off.
Oh, they've got away with it. Sure stuff, they know. Pushed into the gravel is Salberg. Simmons in the gravel as well. This is what happens, Sam. You come off your line to make a move. Any manner and number of cars could come past you.
I think it was a Pure Sims car, maybe Sutton, who was on the inside into the chicane.
Yeah, the turquoise mirrors is Sutton, the teal mirrors.
Yeah, and I thought he was going to wipe out everyone, but remarkably got away with it. And
no, it was Turnbull. Was it Turnbull?
It could have been. It was one or the other. I think. It could have been Docker, frankly.
It could be. I'll be honest. It's all a blur. There's too much blue and white out there. I'll be honest. I said this week 1 and nobody listened to me.
You said this 2 seasons back, I think.
No, nobody added any more. Well, exactly. It shows how much attention people pay, doesn't it? I'm leaving. That's it. No, there's Williams then. Oh, Williams was in the lead last week until he came to grief. Sedgwick having a look at Wojciech Savidovic. Wojciech Savidovic, not the meeting for him, Sam, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd like to end the season nicely, but of course no showdown. He's pretty much out of the championship. Bet he'll still win a race though towards the last few rounds.
Yeah, I think after today, that's probably him done and dusted. It might be Alex Simpson done and dusted as well, down in 40th place in this one. 39th place, sorry, not what Apex Racing team had in mind, unfortunately for them. But Ross McFarlane, well, this is going rather nicely if you do say so.
Where is the Core Sim Racing team principal? He needs to be shouting down Jansen's ears, saying, overtake McFarlane, hold up McFarlane, get Mangan into play, because if they start biting, Mangan will catch up to these guys.
Where's Jansen in the championship, Sam? Just
he's out, I think.
My points didn't work. Just putting that out there for the viewers at home. It's not that I'm ignorant, it's that I couldn't get the website didn't work.
Jansen, I can't even find him. I think he's that far down, or I'm blind. He's 44th in the championship. Jansen.
Okay, well, he's not going to win the championship, is he?
Yeah. So overtake McFarlane, hold him up.
Why not?
Mangan to overtake him and give your teammate a few more points. Instead, he's just waiting behind and, if anything, working with McFarlane, which is working with the enemy. So I don't know why he hasn't been overtaken. Of course, he wants to win this race, and he feels like staying behind McFarlane, keeping Masida out of this one is his best bet.
He possibly doesn't want to take McFarlane out by doing anything silly. Because remember, there is a team's championship afoot as well. Now, Core came a bit late to the party with their third car, so maybe not for them, but...
Oh, they're still in range though. They're only 100 points off the championship
lead.
Off!
Baker! It's Baker!
And that's big for the championship. 10 places lost.
Yeah, that'll be 10 points basically. Gone down the Swanee for Baker, sadly, but here comes Carl Jansen then into the lead. Car 92 sweeps through. He'll be saying woohoo. Farley won't, I tell you. But he'll be thinking, how do I get back? How do I get back past? How do I regain this lead? Well, he's going to have 1.5 laps to do it as the circuit bathed the beautiful orange glow as the sun is setting.
That's a 4-car train. Mangan's back into this one. It was a bit late from Jansen, but he's finally got past. Masida not with a very good chicane, and he's dropped off these top two slightly. So it might just be free. Mangan would love it to be another lap. Neidhart could be dangerous as well in 5th place if all these come together.
Ross Balfour just taken 8th from Michael Evdocker.
Teammates.
Sutton, Turnbull and Evdocker here battling. Oh, was there some contact there between Evdocker and Turnbull? There might have been. Ash Sutton in 11th at the moment. Oh, gosh. Get away from him, he says, almost. But this is too...
Oh. I could have gone bad.
Yeah. It could have. I've seen that happen before.
Oh, it has gone bad. What are they doing?
Just a little contact, a little nudgy from Sutton. He's trying to bump draft him, isn't he? He's trying to push him along towards Balfour. He's only 1.1 seconds behind him, but the Northern Irishman has a good advantage at the moment. But Jansen and McFarlane, here we go, we're on to the final lap. Just 1/10 between them.
Ooh,
what's he going to do, Sam?
too far behind as Mercedes won't catch them in time.
Is McFarlane going to try and take the lead essentially into the first corner, which is going to be Curva Grande or the Curva della Roggia? He's going to go for it.
Got to go for it. You've got to go for it now. This is, you could get past that Parabolica, but this is the safest one. And that is easy for him there.
You can defend into Parabolica, though. That's the key. You can't really defend down the main straight, but he's fighting back around the outside in Curva Grande. He has got the momentum here as Carl Janssen. He's going to be clear, isn't he? He's going to stay ahead. So it may be Parabolica, unless he gets a great run out of Curva della Roggia. No, not this time. You were saying they were too far back, though. Mangan, you mentioned him. He's your boy there for the win. Mangan, he's still got an opportunity to win this race. JB Maceda does as well, but he doesn't want to make any mistakes.
Sutson's down and Simmons as well, so there's been a big old crash.
Yeah.
But we'll have to go back to the lead. We'll try to get a replay of that later on. As here comes McFarlane. Will he wait behind? He's got to get on with it, otherwise Mangan will put a nose underneath. So he's going to have to go the long way round. Can Janssen just break deep enough here to keep him behind? Will he leave a car's width on the outside?
He has to.
And he almost runs off the circuit, does the Pure Sims driver, and it's still on the run to the Parabolica.
He's alongside him. He had to leave the space. That is the rule of this league. Core cars now switch lanes to try and get that slipstream together. Mangan, he might try and pull out into ahead of McFarlane, but I don't think McFarlane's going to let him into Parabolica then for the final time. It's Janssen, it's McFarlane. McFarlane's got a slight overlap, you know. He's going to see who's going to get it, who's going to sort the run to line. Look at Maceda coming, and Mangan is coming as well. Oh, the back wheels over the line. Who's it going to be? Oh, it's going to be Janssen, but it's barely Janssen. And that's a finish for the ages here, Sam, at Monza. That's wonderful.
It's incredible how he managed to get underneath him as we got a run to the line. Oh, Turnbull beats him talking by 1,000th of a second.
Maceda's going to go home and go. He's going to be telling people, I finished 3/10 behind the leader there. Where did you finish second? No, I was 4th.
Yeah.
I won't believe it.
I don't know if Mangan gave McFarlane gave Janssen a bit of a tap into Parabolica, because he managed to somehow get underneath his rival and almost had the run to the line, or it may have just been Janssen running slightly wide, but he had enough anyway.
It could have also been an element of Janssen sort of planning for the nudge and maybe giving a bit more space, which actually did allow him to get a good exit. And it was that good exit that saved him 4/100ths of a second. I mean, that's no margin at all. They did collide on the way to the line as well, which I thought was sure to lose McFarlane more time than that, but he still got to the line ahead of Mangan. That's a terrific race. We have got everybody, we've almost got everybody over the line. We're just waiting actually on Alex Simpson and Jason Ashton. That's actually a battle that's going on the final lap. Well, it's going to be points for Simpson, Sam, but not much more than that, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it seems like Stevens finished a lap down, so he needs to move up a place just at the end. But yeah, Simpson a right off, and it's not going to be his year after nearly winning it, because a couple of seasons ago, as we get a replay of this final lap, and McFarlane trying to get the chase pace winner.
Live pictures. This actually, Sam, this is the cool down lap. It does look like they're still racing. Actually, going pretty quickly down the back straight, but just cruising back to the pits. It's a great sight seeing all these Audis, and like I say, the setting sun providing another wonderful backdrop for us here on Apex Racing TV. We thank everybody who's watched tonight, as we see now race 3 results on the screen, sir.
I don't know how they're sliding in a front wheel drive.
Handbrake.
Yeah, of course. Thanks to iRacing. Carl Janssen then winning out by 400ths of a second, banging in 3rd place behind McFarlane. They're very close between those lot. JB Maceda, great driver Maceda, never let the leaders get away from him. Ends up in 4th. Dennis Neidhart was waiting for something to happen. Still a good 5th place for him. Rickard Carlson comfortably top of the amateur drivers in 6th. Then was Kieran Harrison. Ross Balfour, great day for the championship for him. Then was Matthew Turnbull, Craig Williams, Jack Sedgwick, Wojciech Sarudovic, Jason Cooper, Norbert Leitner, Jason Staney, George Simmons, Nathan Davies, Simon Trendell, Marius Breuer, Mark Woodhouse, Mark Johnston, Jamie Rushworth, his best result of the evening by a long way. Ash Sutton dropped down. Of course, we had that incident. I wonder if we could get a replay of that in just a moment on that final lap near the start of the lap. Marcel Fitch was in 24th, then it was Jamie Wilson, Facundo Britos, Dave Baker with a poor race to end his evening off. Ben Gregory started high up. He ended up in 28th. Van Glover was behind him, and John Roberts running out the top 30. Then it was Darius Neidhart, Lee Berridge, Michael Abdoka, Emil Solberg, Toby Ward, Adam Hadfield, Alex Simpson, Jason Ashton. Kip Stevens was one lap down. The drivers who will not score any points were Pete Newman, Quarantine, Guinness, Jason Allen, Morgan Butler, Jake Blackhall, and Damian Harris. Harris with a couple of pit lane starts, I think, and we didn't see a whole lot of him for evening for him.
Yeah, usually well inside the top 20 is Harris, isn't he? And some good nights for some people, not so good for others. That's how motor racing is. But we've seen a great night's racing here at Monza. It's been fantastic to watch. And I will say as well, thank you, Sam, for stepping in for Adam Bath, who's got other duties tonight. But have you enjoyed this one? Just before we have a chat with Nathan Davies,
I didn't think I'd enjoy it, and I enjoyed it even less than that. It's been a horrible time. I hope I don't have to see you next week. Anyway,
user has been kicked from your channel.
Nathan Davies is with us. I think, Woody, you're standing by with him.
Yeah, Nathan, welcome to the commentary box, mate. Fast and furious out there, that's for sure. And one of your best qualifying performances of the season?
I think ever. It might be up there ever, really. Yeah, it was really good. And yeah, tonight was really fun, as always. Some hard battling. And yeah, glad to finish all three again. Can you believe I've gone all season with 0 DNFs? Do you believe that?
I do now. No, look,
hey, I was myself when I read it the other day.
The thing is, you've been around a while in this series now. Yeah. 4 years, I think it is now, isn't it, for you? Maybe 5.
It's been a while, yeah, for sure, yeah.
And I was saying to Sam earlier on that the standard in the series goes up every year. Of course, we've said this before, but it must make it even more gratifying for you to be finishing racing the top 20 in this company. No disrespect to the field you raced in, say, in 2016, but
for me,
this is the pinnacle, isn't it?
Yeah, this is easily the toughest field I've ever competed in, and that's including from my karting days and everything. There's just so many people who can hook every single corner of every single lap up. There's like a good 15 of those people. And so to be up there, yeah, I do feel quite proud to be up there now. I was quite a bit off at the start of the season, but I'm starting to find some pace later on in the season now. So it's good. And obviously the main thing is that now I'm beating Mark as well. So
yeah, he's not going to like it.
That's the main thing. He is absolutely seething. Honestly, I'm taking lumps of points out of him at the moment. So yeah.
Stop the count.
Roll on next week.
That's it.
And I've got 0 penalties for next week as well. I've been a good boy tonight. A lot of other people haven't, but anyway, there you go.
0 penalties so far.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You've just said that in front of Sam Fitzpatrick. Anything could happen to you now. You get thrown in the brig for next week. But hey, look, we always say to everybody who you want to give any shout outs to or anything like that.
Just a shout out to my teammates and best friends, Mark Johnson and Luke Kidsley. Luke wasn't able to make it tonight. He's working in Belgium this week. The poor sod. But yeah, Mark made it, but I just didn't see him all night. Did you see him all night? I didn't see him all night.
We barely saw him actually. He was there somewhere.
He had a really good start in race 2, I think, and I think that was all we saw.
Did somebody hit him off? I think somebody might have hit him off in the second race. I don't know.
He's always got an excuse, that boy.
But we'll see. Hey, that didn't come from his mouth this time. But we'll see. No, thanks very much for joining us, Nathan, and hopefully we can catch up with you over the next couple of weeks, the last 2 rounds of the season.
Have a fun night, guys. Bye-bye.
Cheers, mate. Well, Nathan Davies there, Sam, and good to see the pace improvement from him. He was you weren't about when he started in this series, but he always showed flashes of very, very good racing, and then in the end, he used to usually end up in the fence or in the back of another car without any offense to him. But he's cleaned up his act a lot. He's got the pace now to go with the consistent pace to go with it. So yeah, very good performance from Davies, and I believe you've got Carl Jansen with you.
Yes, Carl Jansen, who might be our highest point scorer tonight because he managed to get a 10th place finish, a 2nd place finish, and a win. All from pretty low down grid positions as well. Congratulations, Carl. First up, that race 1. I think the floodgates just opened in front of you. Talk us through it from your perspective because it all happened with the top drivers in there.
Yeah, I had some luck getting through the field in the beginning of the race, and then for the last lap there, I don't really know what happened. Jack and McFarlane made contact there, I saw, and then Jack and I think it was Sutton made contact again into the last turn. So, I kind of just picked up the pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. Then race 2 was just a good solid 10th place finish. Now in race 3, I was getting a little bit frustrated with your driving because I was saying, you got Balfour, you got Mangan behind you. I was surprised that you weren't overtaking McFarlane and holding up him to get Mangan back into play. I mean, did that come into your mind at all? Because you seem to be running the smart strategy too there, staying behind him, not slowing yourselves up. But was it a temptation to try to bring Mangan into the equation there?
Yeah, I didn't think of it at first, and then kind of for the last 2 laps there when I made the move quite early on, was trying to get Oscar back, hold up Ross a little bit. But I think it could have been a bit different scenario if we would have done some things differently earlier in the race. Then maybe both of us would have ended up there directly. But yeah, it was really good to have help for the run to the line. And yeah, probably should have gotten him in a little bit easier or a little bit earlier there. So, but yeah, I was looking at the win at that time, and then for the last 2 laps there was like, yeah, Oscar is really close, so we'll let him come and help me out.
It was an awesome run to the line in that one. In the championship, in the team's championship, it is close now. It's down to 70 points between you, Apex Racing Team, and Pure Sims. It looks like it's going to be a 3 fight, a poor day today for Apex Racing Team. You guys are right in that fight. Dare I say you might even be the favourites with the momentum that you've got. From your perspective, is that the main aim, or is it instead to help your teammates out in the drivers' championship?
It's a bit of both. Usually for qualifying, I'm the one to give the draft and stuff like that. So I usually help out in that way, and then also in the races, try and help out as much as I can. But obviously, with how strong the point scores have been from all of us lately, I think that the team's championship is definitely on, and I think all of us are gunning for that. So, I think it's really good lineup we have now with me, Oscar, and Ross. Everyone scored points consistently and every single time we have a meeting. So, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's looking very good.
Absolutely. Well, best of luck for that one, Carl. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, obviously to Ross and Oscar for helping out and also driving, and then Logitech G for the sponsor.
Awesome. Well, I hope you have some more good results next time at Donington. We'll see you then, Carl.
Yeah, later, guys.
Well done to Carl Jansen. Good, solid performance again there. And we're going to hear next from Kieran Harrison. And Kieran, first of all, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Well, welcome back to the commentary box, mate. Been a regular fixture in your rookie season. We said all along you must be tired of hearing about how many practice sessions and things you've been fastest in, but you've now put together the consistent results to go with the pace that we know has been there. Another very positive meeting for you tonight. Really good final race as well, 14 positions gained. Just how difficult is it to keep your head in a race like that where the margins are so small?
Yeah, really difficult. I was kind of dreading this track. Coming in with a quali ban as well, I was certain something was going to go wrong. So I've actually had a really good meeting just by not having any crashes. But yeah, particularly it showed in race 2 and 3 where there was a gap in front of me. Obviously, the second one I was leading, so I was always under pressure, and it's just kind of you try and hold on long enough for the two guys behind to start fighting, so you can get a gap. Fortunately, that did happen both times.
And you hope they don't fight you first.
Mark Woodhouse did a fantastic job for me in the second race, where he pushed me when he was behind me, and then fought off Baker at the time, and that allowed me to build a gap.
How different is it to approach this track without the first chicane? Because I guess it brings up quite a few strategic issues, and as well, you know, Curva Grande is now quite a fearsome corner in the dry, even in the dry conditions.
Yeah, it's honestly it feels more like an oval. This kind of race with a few corners in the middle. Like Monza in these cars is a massive track anyway, but now that front straight was huge, and then the first corner, well, what became the first corner for this layout, it's just about flat, so it's a bit sketchy when you go through side by side, which you're always side by side because of the draft up the straight. So yeah, it was a real challenge. I was certain there was going to be some carnage, and there was by the looks of things with the safety car.
It sounds like that approach paid off for you. Two rounds to go. Donington National next week, and then Sebring in the first week of December. What are you thinking about those two tracks? Because you know they are very different. You've got the fairly smooth tarmac of Donington Park, and then you've got the bumpy concrete of Florida.
Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to going to both of them. Actually, I like them both. It'd be nice to go to a small British track like Donington. For me, it's at least for the next round. I think I was clean tonight, but the next round, it's key that I don't get any penalties again, because I've got a few license points, and considering you can't drop the next two rounds, it would ruin me in the championship. I don't think I'm quite out of it yet, but yeah, they're going to be a challenge for sure.
All right, well, thanks for coming in to speak to us. Once again, before you go, if you want to do the usual, if you want to give a shout out to your teammates or your friends, family, whoever's watching, really.
Shout out to my friends and family for supporting me always. The team, HM Engineering, and of course my teammates this week, Quarantine and Norbert, helping me out with the setup.
Perfect. Nice one, short and sweet. Thanks very much again for joining us, Kieran, and well done for today, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Right, Sam. Kieran Harrison, another strong meeting, could turn a rookie season into a championship season.
Yeah, the points have already been updated. Fantastic admin team here, Apex Racing League. Do a brilliant job. So Balfour leads now by 50 points in the championship ahead of Baker. Turnbull moves up to 3rd. Harrison moves up into 4th. But Mangan, McFarlane and Cedric all drop places to 5th, 6th and 7th. Still only 100 points separate the top 7. But Balfour looking pretty good after this round. Obviously, we have drop scores as well. I think those points do take into consideration the drop scores, but obviously, if that could still make a difference, and then the last 2 rounds cannot be dropped. So, it's really tight. But Balfour, for the first time this season, that might be the biggest lead margin we've had all season long. So, looking very positive for the core sim racing driver.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic conclusion to the season. You can see it all here live on Apex Racing TV over the next 2 weeks. Please do not miss those. They're going to be fantastic. Right then, everybody, it's time for us to say goodnight for now. But thanks for watching from Monza. I've been Andrew Woodhouse. He's been Sam Fitzpatrick. Sam Kumo has been on the cameras as well. Hopefully, we should have Adam Bath back for next week as well for his track, his favourite track, Donington Park. But for now, everyone, it's arrivederci a tutti.